Hello and welcome to Wake Up and Smell the Mic S&P 500 review for Wednesday, April 19th, 2023. It's now 8:16 a.m. Central Time. We start off in the S&P 500 daily chart in Demarker looking back to end of December 2021, and we're going to take an in-depth look at the S&P 500 now. The S&P 500 has qualified and confirmed the buy TDST levels on yesterday's bar of the 18th. And the S&P 500 this morning is having a bit of a pullback. It's at 4132 approximately. And that price is right around the STARC Band mid-band at 4130.54, and that's a 9-period simple moving average. Right underneath is the cloud conversion line at 4119.66, and that has proven to be good support these past 4 days. And this demand line could become qualified with a close below that level for end of day today on the 19th, and that level for today is 4100.89. Same thing with the trend factor disqualified. Down one could become qualified with a close below that, and if it closes below that level, both of these will be qualified. And now it's getting near the channel 3 low in the lower STARC band. And to reiterate, the 50% qualified and confirmed propulsion exhaustion up was tagged the other day on the 14th. And so that's an indication of more possible upside. And the combo and sequential cell setup 6 count has printed, and to negate that for end of day today on the 19th, there must be a close below 4146.22 for the price flip to the buy setup count 1. So price could start the day with the price flip to the buy setup count 1. And again, that was starting to get long in the tooth. Here, it's past 5. Anything past 5 is getting near 9. So to lose the sell setup count like this when it gets at these levels is somewhat devastating. Here's the S&P 500 looking at the REI, Demarker 1, ROC, and the directional movement index. So basically, quickly in a nutshell, the REI is way above its overbought line, and in Demarker that's a show of strength. Same thing with the Demarker 1 and the ROC, which is barely above the overbought line. So what we'll be looking to see happen is the ROC getting below its oversold line here at -40 and staying under there for less than 5 days, and then coming back up above that line here overbought. All the while Demarker 1 either stays above the overbought line or goes into the middle of the zone between 40 and 60 and then goes back up above the overbought line. If it turns around and heads under the oversold line, that's a change of momentum for the entire S&P 500. ROC, same thing. The directional movement index has the ADX here, and it's at 17.31. Anything above 20 is an indication of a strong trend, either upwards or downwards, and in this case it's upwards, it appears, we can see. And it has a plus and minus band here, and green is the plus and red is the minus, and of course we want to see the plus above the minus, and there was the crossover back here on the 29th. And as you've just seen, as I'm recording this at the open, there was a whole bunch of alerts for that exact reason. When price drives REI underneath its oversold line at -40, and DM1 and ROC are still above it. Again, they can go under a little, but as long as they don't go under oversold, and then REI shoots back up above oversold in 5 days or less, then that's another buy signal. So that's timing was very good so that you could see that. And now we'll zoom in on price's upper window here to see that the blue 4 simple moving average is above the red 9 simple moving average, and they're both above the 18 simple moving average in gold here. So that's a short-term moving averages indication for buying. So it's creating this rainbow pattern. Came close to going under here, but then it just shot right off of that without going under and headed back up. So we want to see these three even out and start heading up, but there could have the blue go under the red before all is said and done. And then moving the moving averages up here, the blue is the 20, the red is the 35, and the gold is the 50, all simple moving averages. So you can see that the blue is above the red and the 21. Now we got to get the red above the gold here. And then we have the Chande indicator in the lower window, where anything above 0 to up to 75, when it gets to 75 it's extremely overbought, and conversely under 0 when it gets to 75 it's extremely oversold. You can see the last time was 50 something here. And in this chart there's a psychological line and the Williams percent R, and the psychological line above 50 means there's more buyers than sellers, and then when it goes above this 75 line in red like this did here in 80, that means it's extremely overbought, and you can see there's been a pullback but still buyers in the market. And again, this is lagging, so we'll have to wait to see what happens end of day today on the 19th. And the Williams percent R, anytime it's above this red line it's overbought, and you can see it's been overbought for a while. Same thing like it was back here, but at least down here, back here it went down a little bit. Here a couple of downdrafts and then back up. This has been above the overbought line for quite a while, similar to back here. And in the next chart you can see it has the MACD, the QQE, which is similar to the RSI, and then the ultimate oscillator. And there's a couple of divergences, bearish style here. You can see price headed up here, and then the MACD histogram in green bars here is getting smaller, and all that means is anticipation of a cross under of the MACD line under its signal line soon. So it's a forward looking indicator somewhat. And then the ultimate oscillator went above overbought and started heading down, so there's a bearish divergence in the ultimate oscillator. So we're headed for some downside, but I still see more upside after the downdraft is over. And the last chart shows the KSTs for the S&P 500. You can see the short term has crossed below its signal line back here on the 11th. It somewhat has a downward trajectory. However, the intermediate term KST is pointed straight up and to the right, and the long term KST has crossed above its signal line on the 17th and is headed up. So these two will tell you that there's more upside to come, but for right now we're going to have a downdraft.